What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to break down what's going on with the overall market and do an analysis of SPY and QQQ, break down what the trends are telling us, how they may affect NIO, and what is likely to happen to NIO stock going forward. Now, before I break anything down about this, though, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, whether it's $1 or $100, it's up to you. You're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $3,000. And the best part is, any could be a free NIO share. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 2 days. Check it out before they run out. In fact, tomorrow is actually your last chance to sign up and actually get the deal. So make sure you guys are ready for it. Once again, offer ends tomorrow. Get those free stocks. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So anyways, NIO is up 1.87% for the day after the bullish news that came out, after the new variant of their model was just announced. It's going to be displayed at the Shanghai Auto Show. But now the real question that comes into mind is, how is NIO going to move going forward? Because yes, that news did help NIO outperform the market temporarily. But when we zoom out of the chart, we still have this head and shoulders developing. We also have some potentially bearish developments on SPY and also for QQQ I want to talk about. And I'm going to talk about how this all could affect NIO as well and what the share price is likely to do. But first, let's talk about some news and data just real quick. I'm going to make this brief. All right, we have some data coming out for tomorrow, some manufacturing data, especially for New York. We also have some buildings data and housing data as well with the Fed speaker on Tuesday. Then we have more mortgage data as the days go on, initial jobless claims for Thursday, and then Friday, the PMI data. So not too much heavy data for the week. For earnings, we have for Monday, Charles Schwab, Pinnacle, First Bank. So a lot of banks are reporting earnings. M&T Bank, basically. A lot of these banks tomorrow, this will affect how the market opens. The expectations for Charles Schwab are not very strong. We are anticipating that they're actually going to see slower growth than before. And this will once again affect the sentiment for the whole banking sector. For Tuesday, we have Bank of America, Netflix, Johnson & Johnson, and Goldman Sachs. Lots of big ones for Tuesday. Wednesday is pretty big too. We also have Morgan Stanley. We have ASML, which does not have strong anticipations. Tesla and IBM. Make sure you're ready for all of these. It's going to be very impactful. When it comes to SPY, I just want to note that this is actually a very important metric I've been looking at for the past few weeks, and this tends to give us a good idea of what could end up happening. I want to note that for Friday, we actually have about 3.3 million puts out of the money. So what this means is the market makers are going to try to keep the price near where it's at and try to hold SPY up. The shorts are going to try to smack us down because they want more of these out of the money puts to end up in the money. We have a 3.15 put to call ratio. There's going to be a very, very big fight this week. I hope you guys are ready. And I am anticipating that there's a good chance shorts will try to take advantage of this and try to fight sometime this week. We have to be ready. There could be some downside coming. Now for NIO, I'm just going to briefly go over NIO. The first batch of the 10 third generation power swap stations has been open so far. So that's very, very good news. Starting in 10 Chinese cities. Once again, awesome news from NIO. They're continuing to innovate. They're continuing to improve their products. And I consider this great news going forward. But is it enough to help NIO push up? As of right now, not necessarily. Volume is only 31 million, a little bit below average. The short volume has been on a bit of an uptrend, but overall it's just fluctuating. So not too much from that end. The price-praise ratio is very flat, but there is a risk of it actually continuing to break down since it's failing to heavily outperform the market right here. And then on top of that, I just want to note that we did see about 4 million NIO shares shorted on Friday. And typically, NIO tends to be a little red on Mondays, like 49% of the time we're green, 51% of the time we're red. All right. Now, what does all this data tell me? The odds are favoring downside for the markets. Let me explain. So, when it comes to NIO, we actually have a bearish looking chart, clear head and shoulders right here. we got a bounce off the Shanghai Auto Show announcement for NIO that came out that helped NIO outperform the market on Friday. But notice how NIO is still technically in a downtrend. It's actually getting very tight right here. Because NIO did not get a rebound to 9.7, we got stopped at 9.5. So we're making these lower highs. And it's actually looking a little bit weaker than before. Now, on top of this, right, there's the clear head and shoulders that's developing. If it plays out, expect NIO to come all the way down to 8.5. The odds are still favoring that. Unfortunately, it will depend on Charles Schwab and many other earnings beforehand, but for the time being, we'll have to wait and see how this goes. SPY is holding up nicely so far. In my opinion, we do have a bearish divergence though on the hourly time frame. You can see right here, we actually saw the RSI just downtrending, but the price has been just uptrending, right? Making these higher highs. It's either going to pop up more and likely start to see downside soon, or, excuse me, sorry guys. On the daily, SPY might end up reversing and end up downtrending because we do have a possible reversal candle that developed. Once again, this all depends heavily on earnings. We'll see what earnings brings us. On the daily chart, we have another potentially bearish structure right here. We're actually seeing weakening on the MACD. It just needs a little bit more time. Tesla's in the middle. Elon Musk did announce a new company that he's going to be starting involving AI. So typically when that news comes out, Tesla slows down a bit. So we might get a slow start, but I do think Tesla could try to bounce later on during the week because of the fact that it has earnings on Wednesday. We tend to see Tesla push up approaching earnings. And if that's the case, we could see Tesla start to rally a bit. I'm really hoping it does. The news right now is kind of mixed, so it might start off slow and then it might break out later on. But until then, right, we have to watch out for earnings. It's also going to react to that afterwards. The dollar is starting to show some strength. If this thing actually starts breaking out soon, that's going to be bearish for the stock market. It's showing some strength. We need more confirmation first. The VIX has a bullish divergence. I don't know if the VIX is going to drop more and then bounce, or if the VIX is just going to bounce from here. But we do have a very bullish looking divergence on the weekly time frame. If you look at the overall structure on it, you could see that we actually hit these extreme lows on the RSI. On the weekly, the VIX has a bullish divergence right here. Clear bullish divergence. It's respecting an uptrend on the RSI and the MACD where the PPO is, but the price of the VIX is going down. This tells me that the market is most likely, the stock market is most likely going to either pump a little bit more and then start dropping, or we just start reversing from here. It's got to be one of those two most likely. That's what I'm essentially seeing. Same thing with the QQQ. QQQ is most likely going to either try to pump to about 321, maybe a little higher, and then collapse, or it just collapses from here. It's got to be one of those two. It's very hard to predict exactly which one it's going to be because it depends on earnings. But the bottom line is there's a lot of risk in the markets right now, and we are due for somewhat of a pullback. So make sure you're prepared. Shorts are not happy with how many puts are there out of the money, and they are going to try to fight. So make sure you're ready for the fight. For NIO, what does this mean for the share price? Well, if we're bullish, well, NIO is going to pump to about 9.5. If we're bearish, watch it fight for $9 flat. If it breaks below 9, 8.75, then 8.5 will come. What do I predict is going to happen? Once again, it really and heavily will depend on earnings, but in my opinion, it's very likely that this thing is going to try to bounce a little bit, try to push up just a little bit, and then we're going to see some more downside for NIO. It's just going to get tighter and eventually start fighting for $9. If $9 fails, it's going to come down pretty much. It's going to come harder down, so make sure you're ready for that. I'm anticipating some downside very soon nonetheless. All right, I know it's unfortunate, but this is what the chart is telling me. We pop a little bit more, then we see some downside. Clear head and shoulders is still developing. It has not been invalidated. We need some more time, of course. But like I said before, it's still valid, and the odds are heavily in favor of downside soon over the next few weeks. All right, guys, I know it's not always what you want to hear, but I am doing my best to give you guys the best and most unbiased analysis possible. With that said, finally, I just want to let you guys know I have a merch shop. You could actually enter it and see the links either above or below the comment section. If you want a shirt that says "To the Moon, Eat, Sleep, Trade, Repeat," or actually some custom merch by me, if you want a hoodie or whatever, it's all down there. If you're interested, please check it out. If not, completely fine with me. The code SAVE5 will help you save 5% off your order. Anyways, I really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you all so much for being a part of this community and this channel. NIO may have some downside coming, but it is not the end of the world for the company. I do believe the company is going to have a big comeback, and this is a very good buying opportunity that's going to come as the months go forward. I'm still very bullish long term for NIO. For the short term, I am bearish based off the structure, based off the news, and based off other factors. All right. Thank you all. Enjoy your Sunday weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon because the long term is very bright, alongside for SPY, QQQ, Tesla, and the overall market. And peace out.